Chief Dele Momodu, thank you for having us in your home.
Oh, thank you for coming. Thank you.
You were once a presidential candidate. I'm just wondering why you're not contesting this time around.
Well, I would say I don't want to be a professional contestant. There are people who just contest for the fun of it. I learned very useful lessons from my past experience, and I realized that Nigerians and Nigerian youths in particular were not ready for my kind of person. Politics is highly capital intensive. Apart from, okay, the allegations of bribery here and there, even for logistical purposes, you need a lot of money, a lot of funding. And most of the people who have the money to support you would rather support the man who is already on the seat or a man who belongs to a strong opposition. So right now in Nigeria, we have only two parties in that category. Even in America, in London, you have two very strong parties, and then you have the other fringe parties. So I belong to a fringe party, and it's not a very strong party, but the whole idea behind it was that I thought I needed to galvanize the people, the workers, the students, the unemployed youths, and mobilize them for that change which we all talk about, but which we're not ready to work for. So for me, I'm not going to waste my time at this moment. I know that things are beginning to improve on the continent of Africa. The youths are becoming aware thanks to technology, especially telecoms. So maybe in another 4 years, who knows? If I see an opening and I believe I have a better chance, then I might come back. But for now, I've decided to team up with the opposition party in Nigeria, and we have been working assiduously towards making sure that this time around we can have that change.
So if you say you've decided to team up with the opposition, I want to imagine that will be the APC.
Yeah, that's the APC, yes.
You were strongly against the postponement of the elections. Indeed, you described it as illegitimate. Now it's going to happen. Do you think that the concerns for which reason it was postponed, that has been fully dealt with now?
Well, I mean, I am trained as a literature student to understand the background of authorship. When you read a novel, maybe Ayikwe Yama or Kofi Awuno, if you don't know the background they are coming from, then you may not understand why they write the way they write. Okay? It's the same thing in politics. We need to find out the reasons why some of us suspected that postponement. And it has been confirmed, even publicly. Yes, INEC was not totally ready. We will admit to that. But I can tell you for free that if the government or the ruling party thought they had a good chance of winning at that time, even if the collection of permanent voters card was just 50-something%, 60%, they would have gone ahead with it. The truth is that the ruling party was not ready. The tempo, the tenor of campaigning at that time did not favor them, and they were afraid that General Buhari might take the day, so they needed some more time, and that is why they had to take those 6 weeks. But let's forget the conspiracy theories and go now to reality. The reality is that against all odds, we are going to have an election on Saturday that is as certain as, let's say, 90%.
Why not 100%?
It's still conspiracy theories. You see, a woman whose child has been killed before by a witch begins to suspect every woman to be a witch. It's an African proverb. Okay? So we have gone through so many things in my country that started like rumors. People will say it's a rumor, but rumor then crystallized into reality. There is nothing those who hold the levers of power would not do to keep it.
Do I get a sense that you're thinking that perhaps between now and Saturday something could come up and the elections could be postponed?
I mean, this is not me now, I'll quote a former president, in fact the only man who has been military president and civilian president in Nigeria, General Olusegun Obasanjo, told Mrs. Buhari only 2 or 3 days ago when she visited him in Abeokuta. He said even one of the options on the table right now, one of the cards, one of the last aces, one of the jokers, is that if some people don't have their way, they are even thinking they don't mind handing over to the military. That sounds very crazy. But if a former president can say that, please, we cannot dismiss it with a mere wave of the hand. So that is why I'm saying we are all praying and fasting. You can see my tummy is going down. We are all praying and fasting that our politicians will leave Nigeria in peace. Because those who are going to suffer are not the big men. It's the ordinary man on the street. Now they've killed some people in Rivers State. For what? Over what? The people being killed, their own children are not around. They are going to remove their family and go to Dubai and everything to go and enjoy whatever money they've made from politics, while the poor people are dying for them. So we are appealing. Me personally, my major mission, and I've been saying it on my voice blogs, on Twitter, everywhere, let peace reign in Nigeria. Because if there is no peace in Nigeria, it will affect the whole of Africa. In fact, it will affect the entire world. The population of Nigeria, 1 out of 4 or 5 black people is a Nigerian. So it is in our interest, collective interest, that we must appeal to the conscience of the Nigerian leadership that it is not worth it. And I'm happy that President John Dramani Mahama visited Nigeria, where he met with both President Jonathan and General Buhari, and I'm sure he also appealed to them. So I salute him for that leadership role, and we hope that our people will abide by the peace accord. Dr. Kofi Annan has been in Nigeria too. Everybody is talking about peace.
What do you think the chances of your party now the biggest opposition, well, what are the chances, taking into consideration that some time has passed, at least before you believed you were going to win?
Well, I am not a member of APC. I am only a sympathizer. I'm a member of the National Conscience Party. What I'm doing now is a kind of volunteering, you know, because I've realized that, okay, nice small party does not stand a chance. So opposition must get realistic sometimes, come together, join forces, and then to the extent, oh Israel, then I can go back.
But the fact that you're joining forces now also means that you believe in the ideals of the APC.
I believe in some of the ideals of APC. I believe in the candidacy now, because I'm left with only 2 choices. In the past, I would not have supported Buhari, and I did not support him. I had a meeting with him in 2011, and I told him to his face, he invited me to his house in Abuja, and he said, Dele, why are you always criticizing me? And I said, well, I believe, sir, that you should leave the stage for younger people like me. I believe that your time is past. I believe that you are a contemporary of Margaret Thatcher. Nothing will happen in Britain. Margaret Thatcher will never come back to power. So, and he explained his reasons and everything. Yes, I believe some of those reasons are tenable. And today, I have seen a former head of state who left maybe over 30 years ago in 1985, and now I have seen an incumbent president, and comparing the 2 of them and looking at what Nigeria needs desperately and urgently, I think Buhari will be able to provide it. If you ask me, I will tell you. The first is that Nigeria needs a very disciplined leader. You see, when you have a father figure, that's why some of us refer to Buhari as our Mandela option. You need a father figure. In the days of tribulations, when there is trouble in the family, you run to the elders of the house. So at this time, Nigeria needs a father figure. We have too many problems.
Does that make Goodluck Jonathan a child?
No, I didn't describe him as a child. I just said in the days of tribulations, you go to a man who has the experience, who has the discipline, You see, younger people, we can afford to take too many risks. We have too many young friends who may mislead us. I believe, and I've seen the body language of General Buhari. I was with him in London last month, and I know that even the governors who may have people, one of them who may want to be misbehaved, they all respect him. You need a leader that people, in fact, I think respect is an understatement. People fear him. The fear of General Buhari, I believe, will help Nigeria at this time, because we have become too reckless, too laid back. People are not afraid to do anything. People can steal in arrears, they can steal in advance. They just don't care. There is nowhere in the world where there is no corruption, but it must be restrained. It must be reduced. And if something is not done, right now, even the budget for this year, I overheard the Minister of Finance saying they need to go and borrow money from African Development Bank and the World Bank to the tune of $2 billion. I'm sure there are people, Nigerians, who have that kind of money. So, before Obasanjo left, Obasanjo had paid off our debts. Now we have become a debtor nation. So some of these problems are the reasons why we believe that, okay, yes, all of us are going to suffer for it, but let us do it for the sake and for the future of our children. So let's have a man who at least we know he will not be giving money to just anybody. This is the only man who came during the primaries. I've never seen a Nigerian politician during primaries, maybe except myself anyway, who will stand up and say, I don't have any dollar to give the delegates. Even if I have it, I can't give it to you. When I went through my own primaries in my party, I mean, I heard some of my colleagues were distributing money from room to room, because you have to put the delegates in an hotel somewhere. While they were distributing money, I was busy distributing magazines, Ovation. I was putting Ovation in there. And, you know, in fact, that morning I was crying when I heard that, hey, some people have money and I did. No. So, I respect Buhari for that. Then we have security challenges. No nation can attract good and viable investments in an atmosphere of general insecurity. So General Buhari has a lot of experience as a retired army general. So I believe he'll be able to handle security better. So I've told you about the economy, I've told you about security. In terms of infrastructure, if you look at the time General Buhari was in power, he was able to put a lot of things in place. Even when he was just in charge of the PTF at the time, he was able to tar so many roads, he was able to build hospitals. So looking at that track record, I think General Buhari, to me, is a leader that we need today for us to restore our sanity. I was not a great fan of Obasanjo. I am more of an Abiola person who contested the election in 1993, the first Nigerian to win a pan-Nigerian mandate, and he was not allowed. It was the same cabal. They operate. You see, it's like a mafia nation where you have less than 10 people determine who can be the president and who cannot. So the votes are very secondary.
Who are these people?
You may have to read my column. I've written about them not too long ago. When you talk about a cabal or a mafioso, you have a gathering of eminent personalities who are so powerful and largely cohesive. You know, I will give you an example now. I doubt if there's anything Obasanjo would do and Babangida will not know about it. Or there is anything Babangida would do and General Salami Abubakar will not know about it. Or something that General Salami Abubakar would do and General Tiwa Danjuma will not know about it. A lot of them are usually army generals. They've been in power far longer than the civilians. So naturally they have their guys in the system who they can call upon at any time.